Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna. We're just, sorry I'm a bit late for the class. As you can see, I'm almost ready, but not quite. And that's the way life actually is. Sometimes we're ready, sometimes we're not. But certainly, I'll do my best. So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. And we're reading from chapter 12, text 11. But first I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Prayojana Das, and I beg for the mercy of all of you here, my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, who's given me an opportunity to speak from this verse, which is actually full of nectar. So certainly what I'd like to do is offer my prayers of respect to you all. Excuse me. Vanchakopatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanabhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namaha. Vanchakopatrubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasani Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, what I'd like to do now is offer all respects to Shri Shri Radha Gokulnanda, Shri Shri Gaurnitai, Shri Shri Sitaram, Lakshman and Hanuman, for they are I seek their blessings, and above all, the man who brought us all to these wonderful deities. And before I speak in this class, I'd like to offer further obeisances, but to the Supreme Lord, who's overseeing all that I'm trying to do in this time of inclement weather. You know, it's a bit of a surprise. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, again, offering full respects to everyone here. It's I'm very happy and sort of unhappy at the same time, very nervous. In fact, I had a nice letter today. Well, not so nice, but they asked me to renew my driving license. And in my own way, I had to say, no way. I can't drive anymore. But these things have to be done. You have to satisfy people, even in this material world. And I'd like to think that one reply, any reply, is always nice to give. So reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, again, seeking all your blessings for this wonderful literature, which first was the first book I got actually from a Prabhupada disciple who was traveling on the Isle of Wight, and he was down there. He was interested in Vedic astrology, and he was. I met him the first time, and it was he's a Vedic astrologer, and he was his name was Hamsavatar. I don't know if he's still alive. Actually, I lost touch with him, but I wish him all blessings, because he gave me this wonderful book called Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. And in fact, this is the very first book I had. I didn't understand it, but certainly when I came in contact with Krishna consciousness, I heard this interesting record. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And it was Yamuna Devi Dasi who offer respects, and also my Shiksha Guru, Mother Kalangani, who was great friends with Yamuna Devi Dasi. So we're commencing in this wonderful chapter called Devotional Service. Service is life. Without service, certainly I feel lost. I know I've only come back recently to try and my hand and to again seek your blessings and Prabhupada's, because he's our founder Acharya. So This is chapter 12. It's called Devotional Service. We're well into it. We're doing chapter 11. I don't know if it's up on the board, is it? Yeah, you see it. Now, I do my best with the Sanskrit. Ahitara shakto sakurtam ma yogam shritaha sarva karma pala tiyaga tata kuru yat manaha. So if you repeat after me. Ateirada piyato hikatum Ni'mad yogam asrita sarva karma palatyagam tata kuru yatmanaha. So if you could try it yourselves. Anybody like to have a go? Yes? Atidado shaktati Karta yogam asrita sarva palatyagadam tata kuru manaha. Is there anybody else who would like to have a go? Atayodya yabudosi Katamad yogam asrita sarva kama bala jayit takyam tata kuro yata manaha. So, if you repeat after me, the word for word translation. Adha, even though, itat, this, api, also, ashaktaha, unable, asi, you are, kartum, to perform, mat, unto me, yogam, in devotional service, asritaha, taking refuge, sarva kama, of all activities, palaha, of the results, tyagam, renunciation, tataha, then kuru, do, yata atma van, self-situated. It sounds like a comfortable position to be in, and we've certainly, they're saying tyagam, renunciation. Renunciation is a word that we associate with yogis. And so it's yogam, it's in service. But service, yoga service, is that where we serve each other? I can serve you. I serve myself by speaking this. But I serve everyone here, the deities, everyone. And all those who've now come, and all those who can hear online. So I offer my respectful obeisances to all who will hear this wonderful verse from Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is. Translation. If, however, you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try to give up the results of your work and try to be self-situated. So there's a verse before this. If we practice the regulations of Bhakti Yoga, then try to work for me, because by working for me, you will come to the perfect stage. So we think that sometimes that whatever efforts we make, it's not perfect. I'm not perfect. Are you perfect? Can we say so? No. But when you know this, it's a position of humility. And if we can just do that, we'll be reassured. Because it says, if we chant the holy name of the Lord, it says just once, it's taking us a step closer to God. Of course, we do more than that in here. This wonderful Gaurati that's just about to come. People will come in spite of the weather. They're making their sacrifice. So if you repeat again, if however you are unable to work in this consciousness of me, then try. You had to give. Try the act of giving up all the results of your work, and try to be self-situated. So this is purport by Srila Prabhupada. His wonderful explanatory purports that actually, I know when I first started, I used to just read the verses, just to get to know it, just to feel for it. My spiritual master, he says, to myself, just get the story first. So we can read Bhagavad Gita just by learning these verses. And actually I've got I don't know if I've got it here in front of me. Oh yeah. Well, I could show you. Oh yes, it was the English translations. That's that one. It's a bit moth-bitten, but it is a wonderful book, because I can't get this anymore. I can't just get the little book that this has. You can have the Bhagavad Gita as it is on the Veda base, but the picture of Arjuna sitting on the chariot with Krishna is wonderful to adore. I used to just sit and look at this picture and chant. That was at my mother's house before she passed away. Now, purport by Srila Prabhupada. It may be that one is unable to sympathize with the activities of Krishna consciousness because of social or familial and religious considerations, or because of some impediments. If one attaches himself or herself to the activities of Krishna consciousness, there may be an objection. And certainly I know that I had objections, but it was very difficult in those days. I was a rugby playing member, and I worked in an aircraft factory as a planning engineer. But they saw me once on a Harinam. It was my first Harinam, and I didn't want to go. But after a while, after I went on the Harinam, it became ecstatic. And there was only 3 of us singing. Oh, maybe 4, Sakya Ras and Radha. I think Radha, I can't remember his name, but they came down to the Isle of Wight. And out we went. And sometimes some people, I met all those I worked with. And it was all the people I didn't want to meet. I didn't want them to know I was a Hare Krishna. But after a while, I got used to it. I had to go back to the firm. At first, they didn't even speak to me. But I thought, well, I gotta somehow keep up and go through as many difficulties, it says here. Through family members or others or anybody else. A sacrifice and the accumulated result of these activities to some cause. And I remember I used to be in I had to give up gambling. We were in a little lottery, which came from our wages each month. But I thought, no, this has got to be the last month. And then when I went to this little Harinam, I thought, how can I do this? Because all the people that saw me, my rugby playing friends, my brothers, my sisters, they saw me on Harinam. See, there are many descriptions of sacrifices and special social functions, like Purnya, a special work, the result of which one is previous action may be applied. Thus one is gradually becomes elevated because to the state of knowledge. It is also found that when one is not even interested in the activities of Krishna consciousness, that was me on Harinam, frightened still. But we can give some charity. But what I've been doing ever since, actually, is trying to give out Bhagavad Gitas and Srimad Bhagavatam sets and Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's the month of Bhadra. In the activities of Krishna consciousness given in charity, and we give to a hospital or some social institution, we can give up the hard-earned results of these activities. And it's difficult to live in this world, rent's going up. I was told that somebody, they were earning they had to pay £250 a week for a small, like a bed set. Maybe not, but it had a small kitchen which they had to share. And then it says, gradually, but we become purified by that stage. And become to understand Krishna consciousness. Of course, Krishna consciousness is not dependent on any other experience, because Krishna consciousness itself can purify one's mind. Oh my goodness, I have so many memories. If you get what I mean, certainly I went to the pop festival on the Isle of Wight in 1970. That was the time when I first heard this Hare Krishna record by the Radha Krishna temple. And it was wonderful. But I didn't know what it was. I just liked the sound of it. And it purified me. It was a seed, like a planted. And so, in that respect, it says social service. Certainly, I was interested in unions. I was an adamant union follower. Community service. Yeah, I like that. I used to give to charity shops, and I'd try and get my clothes from charity shops. Or one's country. I was always actually I was more like a liberal person. I knew that somehow or other that there were two extremes, that I didn't want to go for the Conservatives or the Labour. So I was a liberal man. And then it says, when we come to the stage of devotional service in the Supreme Lord, in Bhagavad Gita 1846, it says devotional service to the Supreme, and that it's dedicating your service, your life, but in such a way, and I'd like to read that if I can. 1846. Shri Shri Radha Gokul Nanda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshmana Hanuman Ki Jai. Right. In 1846, it says, by worship of the Lord, who is the source of all beings, who is all-pervading, one can attain perfection through performing his own work. And that reminds me of a verse called Yatko si yadasi yadyo si dadasi yad yatapasyasi kuntiya mad karushava madar parnam. And that was, I think, 927. It says, whatever you do, whatever you say, whatever work you do, and whatever sacrifice you do that for me. And or whatever austerity you perform. And I know most people are performing austerities, difficulties, with those that are with them. And then it says, by worship of the Lord, this is 1846 actually, he who is the source of all beings, who is all-pervading, man can attain perfection by performing that work. So it's very heartening to find ourselves in a situation where Krishna's trying to advise us that it doesn't matter what you do, you can be an ambulance worker. Mind you, they're going through, I have some friends, the sisters, there are 5 sisters now. One passed away recently. I used to always call them the 6 sisters. But they watch online, and so I offer my respectful obeisances to them, because somehow or other they were my friends, and they were always asking me questions, and I really enjoyed their company. And we don't always meet. We used to meet every Ekadashi. But I said, I can't buy Maha sweets for you all. Every Ekadashi, I had to sort of say, oh, I can't do this anymore. You're going to get sick and I'll get sick. I'll get sick of giving all these sweets, because I just couldn't get them. Or at the time, it was such an austerity. But now, I hope they're listening online. So in 1846, we find ourselves situated Yata Prakriti Bhutanam. If one decides to sacrifice to the supreme cause, even if one does not know what the supreme cause and what is it is Krishna, but he will still come gradually to understand that Krishna is the supreme cause by sacrificial method. And knowing that you've all come here in the austerities of this weather, I thought, the yo-yo of the winter, and I've never known anything like it. And I know I was in bed one particular night, and it was like it was over our head. It was a very frightening experience. And then what happened? Where I was living, the roofs were leaking. So what we had to do was get the buckets out. Drip, 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 drip. So it was an austerity. I live in a place that's a paradise, actually. It's a garden. It's full of organic. I don't know if any of you have visited the gardens. Dear Janakula and Narahari Rupa, they're looking after these gardens beautifully. And somehow there's all this compost that we have to sort of look at, and there's so many colours. David Prabhu, who's kindly brought me, he's done a wonderful little book, and it's now starting to flourish. He's thinking of starting up a little Sangha group, which I hope flourishes, and we got to get enough copies to get that. So if you want to get that little book, please do. It's well worth listening and watching, reading. And he quotes verses from the Bhagavad Gita, but also introduces an ecological thing. They've just come back from Hungary, where it's a whole farm. It can be quite austere there, but apparently they have better weather than we did. And then they come back and they find actually it's winter here. There's a continental type of climate, and somehow it's warm and very nice. David has also taken his relative to these holy places. He just wanted to give them an experience. And that brings me to my dear beloved spiritual Shiksha Guru, Mother Kalangana. She gave me a wonderful background, of which now she told me I had to get initiated. I was 12 years in Krishna consciousness. I was 12 years here doing a so-called temple commander service. But it was in that I started to realize, because of her, I was really not this temple commander. I had to become a servant. I had to serve all these departments. Get washing powder, toilet rolls. And it was like a mind thing. Going to all the companies, what plates we had to have for the Janmastami, and report, do estimates. It was an amazing thing, but that was good for me, because my talent was planning engineering. I used it in the service of the Lord. I had that background. Somehow or other, I came here. I wasn't too popular at times. When I said, don't waste prasad. Don't throw it in the bin. I don't know if any of you were here at that time, but people used to say, yeah, oh, so thank you. Because that's what was happening. They were piling on the puris and everything, and then they couldn't eat it. And they were giving it to the children, and they thrown it away. And there I was. It was even Maha sweets thrown away. And so I couldn't believe my eyes. People throwing Maha sweets away. So that was certainly a period of my life that I had to learn to become a temple servant. And I actually asked Mother Kalangana, who was then my Shiksha Guru, that I want you to be my spiritual master. And she said, don't be a fool. And she hit me on the arm. Boof. Like that. And I thought, oh, yeah, well, what do I do? And then she got on my case. So much so, you must get a bona fide spiritual master. And then I met my spiritual master, Bhaktivedanta Swami. He's now got his own disciples all over the world, but it was early days for him. I was one of the first disciples he had here. I was very attracted. Shruti Dharma, I don't know if anybody who knows it, I'm actually living in that place that Shruti Dharma is at. We call it the annex. But, and now we're I'm in a fortunate position. And also, there was a Prabhupada disciple, Jananivas, he stayed there recently. And I tried to serve them. That's when I could still walk. And but gradually, I lost the use of my legs. And I've come here again. And to I used to do Srimad Bhagavatam classes. I was amazed at the things I wrote. I used to stay up all night studying. And but it was a fantastic thing because I was busy. I was really focused. And now, somehow or other, through doctor's appointments and going to hospital, that somehow I lost track of with this funny old body doing its thing. It's not the sort of body I'd want to give anybody, but it's worth it. I tell you why. Because I learned to receive service from others. And that was a tough one. Like Prabhupada, all his disciples were serving him when he was in his last days. But actually, they were serving him in such a way that he could speak his last verses. And that was in, I think, chapter 13. It was a wonderful book. And he talked about Krishna's smile. So I look over there, and we come up to the deities. When they open the curtains, it's like a festival before your eyes. And certainly it is. Prabhupada's bought a place where there are activities. He said, it must, for this Krishna consciousness movement to flourish, we must make it a place of activities. And I remember Mother Kalangala in her last days, they were going to start the Haveli, but they waited for her to pass away. She was in the cottage at the time. And then when she passed away, almost immediately all the work started. The Tulsi house was moved down to where it is now. And that was very difficult because that was in the time of COVID. Mother Lilavati, she's doing a wonderful service down there. Maybe 40 years of service. And she has Vrinda Devi. Have you been down there? Anybody? You been down to see the Tulsi house? No? Go down there. It's a garden. It's wonderful. The people down there, Mother Lilavati's with her own hands digging out weeds. And certainly my hat goes off to her because also David is also doing service now to put Vrinda Devi to rest. So, David, he's learned this art of serving me and serving Vrinda Devi. And I'm very happy to be served in this way, though it's not something I'd wish upon anybody to go, but we got to help each other in whatever age we are, like different age groups, isn't it? We got to support each other. You've come here for the arty, is it? Is it true? Look, the age groups. And in a minute, there'll be all these little kids that come in. I don't know about tonight, maybe not, but I hope so. Because when we start to learn this wonderful arti, Gaur arti, Lord Chaitanya, Gaura, he brought us this Hare Krishna. He's Krishna himself. He's golden in colour, but he's in the mood of Radharani. Radharani only wants to serve Krishna. So he came in a golden form. And he's given us this wonderful thing. And I know certainly it's a wonderful movement, because it's the highest to serve the deities, to serve Radha and Krishna, to serve Gaura Nitai, Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, which was the latest addition. But Prabhupada always wanted Sita Ram. He wanted all those people that are also Ram Bhaktas. Why not? Because Ram is also the Supreme Lord in the form of majesty, goodness. But he had his hard times when his wife Sita was captured by Ravana. So we all have our Ravanas and people that we don't get along with at work. But but please just try and get on. Because that person is a part and parcel of Krishna. You may not agree with that person, but he's still part and parcel of Krishna. Eventually they will come to this temple, come to the Haveli. And I never thought that Haveli would be like it was now. I thought, no, it's too much. What can you do? But it came about by the seed planted by Shruti Dharma. And if you get a chance to hear Shruti's last speech, he tells how that he'd been served by Tribhuganan. And he says, "Whoa, so you think you're Krishna conscious?" And he said, "Well, come here." And he shaved him up. So Shruti Dharma has had this wonderful contact in the 80s, that was. The contact with Prabhupada. I got my chance. It was in 1994. And time moves on, and it changes in every way, in forms you're not expecting. I didn't know. I used to walk with a walking stick, but then all of a sudden, for some reason, I lost it. I lost my ability to walk. So now I'm in what I call the chariot. It's like, well, that's what it is to me. It's the chariot that takes me through this, down the corridor, into there, and here. And here I am, with a pair of cartels. I'm not a musician. You may have cottoned on to that. But I am here. And so what we do, let's get ready by singing Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And so many people come here. So if you haven't been to see Vrinda Devi, the garden round her, It's beautiful. It may be cold. And I always used to circumambulate the Tulsi house. It was my everyday, no matter what weather. I can't do it now though. I'm going soft in my old age. But I still do see Vrinda Devi whenever I can, weather permitting. And I hope that all of you will go down to that Tulsi house because you're in for a treat. Because the thing about Tulsi, Mother Leelavati told me, she's very merciful. She gives her leaves for all the offerings, for garlands, but for taste, one leaf of Tulsi is enough to take you back to Godhead. So please, she's so merciful. Mother Leelavati says, she can't control her mercy. When she sees everybody, you can take anybody round this Tulsi house. And just by seeing Tulsi trees, Tulsi the plants, Tulsi on the altar, you'll see the on the altar, the Tulsi plants. You'll get that mercy just by having Tulsi. Just one. I always ask when we're down the valley, a lot of people there, I said, are there any Tulsi leaves left? And they say, well, what do you want? Yeah, okay. They look, but what it is, they too understand, have come to understand too in these, Be a Monk challenge. They learnt so much and they never forget. And even some of these monks, they've taken Srimad Bhagavatams, Food for Life people. They're wonderful devotees. Parashram, they go around feeding thousands of people, go to all the festivals, Stonehenge, everything. Up north, new temples, supporting them. God bless Parashram. And Moksha Lakshmi, his dear wife. I see practically every festival here. And she treats me like an old friend, but I used to really tell off because the kids weren't clearing up. But then she soon put me right. She put me in my place. And I'll never forget her for that, because in the morning she used to teach the little children up in Prabhupada's rooms before they went to school. And she's a wonderful person, so all glories to them, and all glories to Mother Vishaka and her husband. Yadubar Prabhu, because he's doing all these films and that you can see on YouTube, everything. All these films that we see of Prabhupada, even from the early days. Guru Das, we've got an album upstairs, the earliest photos of Prabhupada when he first came to Britain. Went to Yoko Ono and John Lennon's wonderful mansion there, and George Harrison, who finally consented to give us this Bhaktivedanta Manor as a kind donation. But it took a while because we had to prove ourselves that. But if you look now, it's proved its point, and they have an evening, George Harrison evening. So if you get a chance to go there, you'll see them all there. The old timers, but they're there, the disciples. And that's the wonderful thing. Association with Prabhupada's disciples, it's a great thing, because they give you Prabhupada. They've each got a piece of Prabhupada to give you in all their difficulties, that they're still here. They still come to the manor. They still support us. Because without them, what will we do? It's 2 minutes to the thing. I better finish here. And They'll take the mic from me now. So, thanks all for coming. I'm glad to have your association, and it's good for me. I hope it's been good for you in some way, and we can help each other. Of course, it's Shrad. Oh my goodness. Yes, look, you've got to be a weightlifter too. This is the blessings actually of Shrad, because they're still remembering the people from their past and within their families and friends. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Radha Gokulananda ki jai, Shri Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai. Right, here we go.
His
Thank
Grace
you.
Prayoja Prabhu ki.
Oh, joy. No, not really. But thank you for coming.
It's okay.
Hare Krishna. I will start in a minute, so please come forward. And the lyrics are up here. Please join me. Repeat after me when we start. Hare Krishna. Shri Shri Radha Gokulanand ki jai, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ki jai, Shri Gauranitai ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ki bajayo jayo Gaurachandre Arati